This is...
What?
This is boring. Delete.
Alright, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for swinging by the channel. The day of reckoning is finally upon us. Now, if you spend a lot of time on Twitter or you're just pathetically obsessed with comic book movies like I am, then you've probably heard about Spider-Man Lotus. Oh, you actually have no idea what I'm talking about because you've had a positive interaction with a woman in the last 2 years? Yeah, that kind of tracks. Now, if you don't know, Spider-Man Lotus was actually a non-profit fan film that was created by this kid, Gavin J. Conop. And fan films are definitely nothing new, especially in like the superhero movie genre. There's a lot of people that love these characters and want to try their hand at either adapting a story or creating their own story to show their love for it. Most of the time, these either range from being okay or just being like downright bad.
I've never faced anyone who could move me, let alone throw me. You've showed me today that I could bleed. I'm even more like humans than I thought.
But at the end of the day, they're not being made by professional filmmakers. They're just nerds, so you kind of have to go easy on them about it. But Spider-Man Lotus was different. What started out as a crowdfunded project by Gavin and his co-writer and lead actor Warden Wayne, promising a psychological study of Peter Parker and kind of diving into the flaws that make him truly human, it kind of quickly picked up steam and got a lot of hype, especially from like the Spider-Man side of Twitter. Even got to the point that he got support from John Watts, who directed the MCU Spider-Man movies, and even got the attention of Andrew Garfield. You've got a Spider-Man director and a Spider-Man on your side. If that was me, I'd feel like the fucking man. Like, you could not tell me shit. Oh, what? Move out of the side, Tarantino. Get out of the way, Nolan. Excuse me, Mr. Cameron. The hottest director in town is here. So with all of this support, along with their Indiegogo page reaching $100,000, Spider-Man Lotus was being very hotly anticipated. And with all of this hype and support for a project, you could only go up from there, right?
Commented, y'all ever make good and funny memes just to flex on blurred vision, slur, and he got mad. I swear, guys, it's not my fault. I was just surrounding myself with racists always. Warden Wayne, shut the fuck up. Honestly, I don't see why people were so upset over me not paying the storyboard artists. This is a fan film, and those N-words need to be grateful that they're finally getting another good Spider-Man movie.
I was online way too much. I was part of these group chats and communities where I very often said some of the most offensive things I could think of to get attention from people.
Warden Wayne, shut the fuck up!
I think Warden thought he was playing Miles Morales instead of Peter Parker. Yeah, it definitely seemed like they took on a bit more than they could chew. They swung their web a little too high here. Sorry. But after a couple years of fighting all the allegations, losing their VFX team, giving half-assed apologies that they only made because they got exposed for being racist, and refusing to give refunds or even remove the names of people that didn't want to be associated with the movie anymore, he kept on going, and now we have Spider-Man Lotus. I assumed with them still releasing it, despite everything that happened, that there was some artistic vision here that, you know, they needed to share with the world that we needed to see. I'm assuming there were people that worked on the movie that don't suck. Maybe. Please. So I decided, as somebody that's loved Spider-Man his entire life, I would put all of that to the side and try to judge this as fairly and critically as I could. With all that being said, does Spider-Man Lotus live up to the hype? Wow, the fan film from somebody with zero directing experience wasn't great. Shocker. Hey, shocker. Normally, I wouldn't be making an entire video about a fan film because that's kind of not fair. But Gavin himself said that this was supposed to be the fan film to end all fan films. Something that no other fan film could ever live up to. Something that would reveal the MCU Spider-Man's massive flaws and be better than it. And also be on the same level as High Top Films and Brown Table and other comic book movie YouTubers. But I think with all of that in mind, it deserves its fair criticism. And Gavin himself also said he's welcome to all critiques, so I'm doing you a public service by making fun of your dumb movie. Also, I don't feel comfortable talking about any other movies right now until the writers and actors are paid fairly for their work, so I'm taking what I can get here. So with all that being said, let's swing right into Spider-Man Lotus. So we start the movie with some drone footage of New York City with a Peter Parker narration.
And I guess we're all left wondering where the golden days had gone.
And like every Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie starts with a Peter Parker narration, so you might have some hope that this could be good. Here's like the very first scene. Now, I know it's a fan film and it didn't have like a blockbuster budget, so they kind of had to do whatever they could here. Very next part of the scene is Spider-Man chasing after them, and it looks fantastic. It kind of makes you wonder how one scene could have such a drastic change in quality. You know, it's almost like your entire VFX team quit the project in light of finding out that you and your lead actor might be shitty people. Because I'm guessing they could have made this look way better than a GTA 5 server. Anyways, it's time for some Spidey action.
All right, well, suit yourselves.
This is a little nitpicky, but there's this like really long pause before he like pulls the web to like apprehend the bad guy. It's a good thing he stood there so you could web him up.
Oh no!
What?
What are you wearing?
It's my soccer suit. It's my soccer suit.
Honey, where's my shaka suit? I'm just imagining like Gavin giving scene direction for that part. All right, cut. All right, look, man, that wasn't bad. Okay, like it was decent, but I think it could be better if you just gave us a little bit more. You know, like sound a little bit. You know, like we have the controversies going on and everything, and you know, you're kind of the only black person that's in this entire thing. So we were just wondering if you could, Warden, can you help me out here? I want you to sound like a real. This also gives us the first sign that they don't actually understand Spider-Man as a character. Yeah, his plan to stop Shocker involves using the henchmen as human shields to protect him. I don't think you have to be a huge Spider-Man fan to know that he would never fucking do that. And you could say it's fine because they didn't actually die or anything, but look what the Shocker suit did to the wall. I'm assuming Spider-Man only survived because he's like super powered. Even though they're bad guys, he wouldn't intentionally put them in harm's way like that. Fuck those guys because, you know, Shocker's been defeated.
Better luck next time.
Are you just gonna stand there? Don't you have a movie to go to? Now, after the next 30 seconds of New York stock footage, we find Peter running, realizing he missed the movie with his friends.
Will the IZ be light? Thanks, Harry. How you been, buddy? Couldn't be better. Hey, what do you think of the Fu Manchu, huh?
Oh my god.
Just gonna ignore that hate crime, huh?
I'll have more to say about the actual acting later, but like it's not the worst part of this scene, so it's fine. We have Peter and Gwen walking and talking while Peter narrates over them.
The things, the way you saw people, your passions, your interests, you were perfect.
Gwen Stacy in this movie is also John Tucker because she must die.
We never did get to take that trip, did we, Gwen?
Wait, what? We're doing an intro 15 minutes into the movie? You didn't want to like put this earlier to like establish the cast, like set the mood for the film, anything? We're just gonna throw it here? Okay, just don't understand. I have to open the movie with the Xbox 360 cutscene. The intro is basically just to show us that like Gwen Stacy dies, because after the intro it leads into the aftermath of it.
Former head of Oscorp, Norman Osborn, has been confirmed dead in an abandoned warehouse near Breezy Point, New York. According to the autopsy report, it occurred around 5 a.m. this morning. Sources say they saw Spider-Man fleeing the vicinity, leaving Osborn dead on the scene with blade wounds and several scars.
Nobody's going to get this reference, but I want to point it out anyways. The way that his mask looks right here reminds me of the Phantom from The Phantom of the Paradise. It's like a cheesy rock and roll movie from 1974. It is magnificent. I love it. Anyways, Spider-Man's girlfriend is dead, so that's a great time to drop the title card. Read the fucking room, Gavin. That reminds me of like the Avengers Age of Ultron title drop where Tony is literally just grabbing Loki's scepter. Like the least action-packed moment of that entire opening sequence, and that's where they decide to put it. Wait, what's going... Why is Spider-Man here? Oh, now we see Peter and MJ at the cemetery, and this is where I want to bring up the acting.
I had a feeling that you might be here,
Yeah.
Bobby.
What are you doing here? I'm asking you why you're here. What do you want?
Oh boy. I feel kind of bad because it is a fan film and these aren't like professional actors, but again, dialogue here kind of sounds like they're just reading off cue cards, like there's no emotion behind what they're saying for the most part. No, you don't understand. I just you know, it's been hard like with everything going on. I'm just so sad, you know? I also want to mention that Mary Jane in this movie talks half the time like she's a Final Fantasy character.
Everything's a mess, Peter. I haven't seen you in weeks.
I think if I took the audio of her talking and put it like over a clip of Aerith from Final Fantasy, you would think you were just watching a cutscene.
You wanted to go to a party or something.
Party?
To clear your mind.
You're a joke.
Wait, what the fuck?
What?
I knew you couldn't handle it.
Couldn't handle what?
Not being the center of attention just for a second. The life of the party loses her spotlight and doesn't know what to do with herself.
That's not true.
It is true. You're so unaware of yourself, it's not even funny. You don't care about people like me and Gwen. She didn't live life like it was a constant game. Maybe if you took a second to think, you could have learned a thing or two from her.
Again, I don't think it takes a super fan to know that he would never say shit like this. Even if you look at the comic panel that this is based on, the dialogue is pretty similar to what they're saying, but I think it comes from a different place emotionally. Like in the comics, it seems like Peter was coming more from his own insecurities. He doesn't accept MJ's help because he doesn't think that he deserves it. He doesn't understand why she would ever care about someone like him. But he wasn't like actually angry with her, I'm pretty sure. And he also didn't like verbally abuse her like this. Like even when he has the symbiote, I don't think he's ever been like, you're just a selfish loser. This is why your dad never loved you. Excuse me? I'm sorry. My girlfriend just died. Anyways, now we're getting a lazy setup for the next plot point of the movie. Not gonna lie, when I first read this paper, I thought that it said he was diagnosed with terminally ill. Maybe they just thought that's how you like get a diagnosis. Well, ma'am, I'm really sorry to have to tell you this, but your son has terminally ill. Yeah, something's going on in there. It's we need to gotta do something. That'll be $100,000. The next scene highlights something I think is kind of funny about this movie. Harry and Peter have a scene together, and it makes me realize Harry's actor might be like the best one at conveying the emotions that they're trying to convey. But then he acts next to these two who sound like they're reading off cue cards and, you know, don't really hit the emotional mark I think they should be going for. Anyways, Peter's mad at Harry for disappearing and acting like he never actually cared about Gwen, but Harry reminds him that his father was also killed in the incident because he was the bad guy that killed Gwen.
Sorry, Look, you weren't the only person who lost something that day, but you can't admit that because you're too selfish to think about anyone else.
I don't really know how Peter forgot about that at all. You know, it really broke my heart to hear about Harry's dad dying. Especially because I'm the one that killed him.
Nothing is ever a problem until it affects you. Harry, I haven't seen you in weeks. And the first time I do, you're passed out on the couch acting like everything's fine. Look, I get that your dad died. Stop. I'm not trying, it's just stop. You can't just stop. I thought we could get past our differences and I thought we understood each other, but we don't. I don't owe you anything. I give you this place to stay, I give you money when you need it, and I help you send your failed proposals, you coward.
Also, why is there a sunset lamp pointed directly at, like, the wall? What's that for? You know, interior design is my passion. Anyways, we get a dream sequence that definitely went on way too long.
You killed me.
I feel like this scene should have cut right after Gwen says that line, but instead we have the goblin like whispering sweet nothings into Spider-Man's ear. In case you haven't noticed, the pacing for this movie is kind of awful. And with all of the shitty things I've already pointed out, you might think it's almost over, especially with it being a fan film, but we're barely 30 minutes into this thing. Anyways, Peter finds this home video footage of him with all of his friends, and it gives him the inspiration to put on the suit again to go visit this dying child. While I do think the scene goes on a little too long, I don't think it was really that bad, all things considered. Finally see them smiling and being happy, and see there was like actually some chemistry between them, and we also didn't have to hear anybody talk, so it's a win in my book. For some reason, we have a scene that's like almost like 3 or 4 minutes of Harry just walking through New York City being sad, which leads into Spider-Man on top of a bridge, which then leads into the flashback of Gwen Stacy dying and him killing the Green Goblin. Why did we need to do all of that? And the flashback scene itself also really confuses me. Why is it black and white when he's holding Gwen and then goes to full color when he fights the Goblin? Why does it briefly clip back to Spider-Man on the bridge and then it goes right back into the flashback? Also, why does the Green Goblin look like Elgar from Power Rangers Turbo? Have all my references been old things that nobody remembers? Oh, and we get another scene with MJ.
You know, last I checked, party's actually inside.
Flash.
Thought you quit smoking.
Yeah, well, a lot's changed since then.
I also love how Flash says that he'll like leave her alone and then just walks up to her anyways.
Even let me stay with them for a few weeks.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I didn't really want people to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel bad like saying this because I know that they're not professionals. It's hard to believe that Gavin directed these scenes and that these were the best takes he got out of them.
Then Spider-Man says anyone can win a fight when the odds are easy.
Oh my god, I forgot about this. Keep in mind, all we had to tell us about this plot point was like that brief flash of the letter. I feel like there's a lot of scenes that you could have cut out of this and had a little more emphasis on like this scene coming. But you guys don't understand, okay? We have 3 minutes of Harry walking through New York City that is absolutely vital to the story, okay? The 30-second establishment shots of New York City, even though I'm not even saying where in New York City it is, that's very important, okay? Okay, but what about Spider-Man visiting this dying child? What about it? Like, so Spider-Man meets Tim, and the beginning of the scene is actually pretty cute, I'll admit. The kid also seems like excited to be in this, so that's always nice too. They play that old Spider-Man game that has the weird controller.
This one is my personal favorite. Spider-Man points at your dick while you play. You can't make that up. That's really how they designed this. What the hell were they thinking?
Oh look, there's a scene that you're starting to enjoy a little bit. Nah, we gotta get the fuck out of there. There's a really awkward cut to Harry at his father's grave. Oh, and MJ's here too. Yay! This scene proves it to us that Gavin and Warden really don't understand the character of Spider-Man. He starts having like an imposter syndrome situation where he starts doubting himself and wonders how this kid could like look up to him as a hero. But he like trauma dumps his entire origin on this dying child. Peter Parker would literally never. Tim, I'm just a fuck up man, you know? I cause harm to everybody I've ever loved, you know? I'm the worst, man. You shouldn't. Man, my life sucks. Okay, cool. I'm dying. Oh, fuck that, I guess. We're going back to Harry and MJ.
I know you're still taking the pills. Why do you keep hurting yourself?
I'll stop talking about the acting and I'll bring up the dialogue that she says here.
Harry, I've lived my whole life trying to be someone else. Trying to be the girl that everyone knew. You don't think I came back from this party sobbing? You don't think I went to sleep every night the same scared girl I've always been?
It feels like whenever a character is like your stereotypical like popular girl, like there's always going to be a speech about her like hiding who she really is and like being this scared little girl that, you know, doesn't have any direction without like her friends or basically another person other than herself to be like independent. I just think it's a very lazy way of writing like women characters and especially Mary Jane. I don't even think she brings up how like Gwen dying makes her feel, just like how it makes them feel as a collective. What? No resolution, no like showing that Harry's fine now. You're just, we gotta get the fuck out of there, dude. We gotta get back to Spider-Man.
I really shouldn't be here.
Wait, what happened?
Your son's last wish was to hear me say the N-word. You know, normally I'd happily oblige, but we can't handle another controversy right now. Tim's mom basically rips into Spider-Man about how he's acting, and I'm kind of glad that she does.
It doesn't matter what you think about yourself. Because he deserves somebody to believe in.
Like one of his last wishes on this earth was to meet you, and you're gonna like take away the last glimmer of hope that he has before he dies. You know, fuck you, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a menace. You know, maybe someone should stop him. So he goes back to Tim, and I honestly think it would have been funny if he opened the room and he was like tearing down all the Spider-Man shit in there.
You're a fraud, Spider-Man!
So anyways, they reconcile, they have like some nice moments, and before Spider-Man leaves, Tim has one last favor to ask him.
Would you tell me who you really are?
Never shown anyone my true face before.
Yeah, but like you're gonna be dead soon anyways, so.
You're Peter Parker. You're the photographer on all the Daily Bugle newspapers.
Yeah.
How does he know what Peter Parker looks like? Like, I get his name is attached to all the pictures that he has of Spider-Man, but would anyone care enough to, like, look him up?
Wait, Peter,
Keep your fucking mouth shut, man. You want the whole friendly neighborhood here to know? Now, this next scene is him visiting the graves of everybody that he's lost, dressed as Spider-Man. Just imagine you're there, like, grieving the loss of someone that you love. I miss you so much. I just don't know anymore, you know? Things haven't been the same since you've been gone, and... Is that Spider-Man? And then we find out all those narrations that Peter was doing was actually recording a tape for Gwen. I don't know if you've seen the movie, but she's dead. I don't know how you're gonna get that to her. And then Harry and MJ stop by, and then everyone reconciles.
You all right, Tiger?
We see Peter apologize to MJ for being such a dick earlier, and I don't really like how she reacts to it.
No. It was a wake-up call. I needed it.
What? I've always thought a pretty important part of Mary Jane Watson's character is that she's kind of like, I know what I want, so cut the shit. Like, even when she's sympathetic for what Peter's going through, she's not gonna let that slide. Like, yeah, you were going through a lot, but you were also being an asshole.
Will you do me a favor, Peter? Say hello from me. Tell Gwen that I miss her too.
Oh, MJ, are you not watching the movie either? Now, the last scene is Flash Thompson's going away party, which Peter is about to walk into, but... And then the movie ends with a swinging scene, which statistically was probably the best way that you were going to end this. But look at this final shot. I don't know how much of this was like the old VFX team and how much of this was like what happened after. He looks kind of wonky. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know if it's actually that bad or if I'm just being nitpicky. And that was Spider-Man Lotus. Doesn't that sound like How to Save a Life by The Fray? Best movie of the year, 10 out of 10. You know what? You guys did it. Now, I do want to say something nice about this. For this being someone's first time directing anything at all, it could have been so much worse. If you've seen other fan films, you definitely know.
Bravo.
Jesus Christ.
Obviously, everybody has to start somewhere, but why did you start with Spider-Man? I had like no body of work that people could have used to like gauge their interest and how they thought you could do this. And have like a student film, like any type of thing you would ever film for anybody. You just got on the internet and said, I want to make a Spider-Man movie. And the internet said, sure, here's $100,000. That kind of tells me you didn't really want to make a movie. You just wanted to be famous, and Spider-Man was your way to get there. To the point that when you and your coworker got exposed for being shitty people, you were just kind of like, hey, you know, my bad. This is Spider-Man we're doing here, and this is obviously an important story, so the show must go on. No, it doesn't. You did all of that to end up with 2 hours of bad pacing, bad acting, and a pretty big misunderstanding of the character. That wasn't very make a fan film no other fan film can live up to and reveal the MCU's massive flaws of you, Gavin. At the end of the day, the question was Spider-Man Lotus worth it? And I think by now you figured out the answer is absolutely fucking not. This is already a very ambitious first project for someone to take on, and you fully fumbled the bag before you even had a chance. Then you throw in the fake-ass apologies, ignoring people that didn't want to be associated with the movie anymore, all for it to still suck. People are saying that there's even more stuff that's going to come out about this movie in the coming weeks. The fact that you've already been exposed for being shitty, and then people can come up and say, but wait, there's more, tells me you probably shouldn't be a filmmaker. Gavin even said something about moving past Lotus and moving on to other projects. I don't know if he should have the chance to. I don't even know if Gavin's ever going to see this, but if he does, the best genuine advice I can give is take a step back. If you actually want to be a director, try to separate yourself from this. Learn actual storytelling. Just like learn from your mistakes and move forward. Or just, you know, don't listen to anything I'm saying or anything the rest of the internet is telling you, because you obviously know so much better, right? That was Spider-Man Lotus, and I think I have to rank it 2 shocker suits out of 10. If this was included on a tier list of all the Spider-Man movies ever made, it would be in the bottom tier, right next to The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Alright, I've laid into this enough. I think that's going to be everything for me today. I know this was pretty different from the content I normally make, but this was something that's been talked about for a long time that I had a lot of interest in general. And if you didn't know, I fucking love Spider-Man, so I would take any excuse to talk about it. But honestly, I had a fun time like talking about this, so I really hope y'all enjoy the video. Make sure you hit that like button, make sure you leave a comment down below. You can tell me what you thought about Spider-Man Lotus, or yell at me because I don't like the same Spider-Man movies as you, that's fine too. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos to come. It helps the channel out and it means the world. And also Spider-Man 2 is coming soon, and if you don't subscribe to me, I'm not going to be able to get it. So anyways, thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there. Don't answer any job applications that have Gavin Conup's name attached to it. I will see you next time, so peace out, everyone.
Spending time with somebody I don't know. I wanna stay for a while. I wanna move your way. No, the roof might cave in. All of these snakes in the wild. I'm about to lose my brain. Tell me who gon' save me.
Sam, I won't be spoken to in that manner.
You talking back to me?